Many families in our Unitarian Universalist congregations, including ours, celebrate Passover. Our interfaith families celebrate Passover. And I recognize that it's a complicated time to share about the Passover story, the Jewish holiday that celebrates liberation from enslavement in Egypt. It's hard to celebrate when the Israeli government is attacking people in Gaza and West Bank and Lebanon. And it's certainly complicated for me, a granddaughter of a Holocaust victim. Because Passover has always been very important as a way to honor my grandfather and my family's heritage. I'm heartbroken about what Netanyahu's government is doing, as I am heartbroken about what our government is doing. But I ask you to keep two things in mind. The first is that while it is easy to conflate a religion and all the people who follow it with the actions of a government that claims that religion, they are not one and the same. And second, sacred stories call us most urgently in times of crisis. They challenge us to remember who we are and who we are called to be. And with that in mind, I want to share a part of the Passover story that feels particularly resonant to me right now. According to the book of Exodus, the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt for 430 years. And their lives had always been hard, and they grew much worse, particularly under a cruel Pharaoh who demanded that they do more with less and punished them severely when they failed. And God, hearing their cries, sent Moses to demand their freedom, or God would rain plagues down upon Egypt. And 10 times, Moses went before Pharaoh, and 10 times Pharaoh refused to let the people go. And each time the Pharaoh refused, another plague descended. Locusts, frogs, the sickening of cattle and people, a dark so dark people couldn't even see their hands in front of their faces. Plague after plague, until the last, most terrible one of all. The firstborn of every person and every animal, except the Israelite families, died in the night. Devastated by the loss of his own son, Pharaoh called Moses up from his bed. Up! Leave my kingdom, you and the Israelites. Take your flocks and your herds and go. And the people knew they had very little time, for the Pharaoh could change his mind. So they took only what they could carry on their backs, including dough for bread they had no time to let rise before baking. Do you know what that bread is called? Matzah, right, that unleavened bread. And that's what we eat at Passover, a taste of urgent flight, of having to leave before you are ready. In 2014, Dahlia Lithwick described a tradition her family had developed for their Seder, the celebration of Passover, inviting everyone to bring what they would take with them in a backpack if they suddenly had to flee in the night. And she wrote about how people experienced this. Some found the exercise cleansing, others found it bracing. One family realized they didn't need to bring much at all as long as they were together. The children packed photos and stuffed animals, their musical instruments, baseball mitts, a pocket knife, books, toys. Not a lot of clean clothes, though. I guess that isn't as important. I've shared this story before and asked us to consider what would we put in our backpacks. But in the current climate, I find I can't approach it as a simple spiritual exercise, because I'm thinking about all the people who are having to do this for real right now. Packing only what they can carry in haste to escape war, to escape violence in Gaza and West Bank, in Lebanon, in Iran, in Ukraine. And I think of the immigrants here in our own country who don't even have time to pack a backpack before they are taken. This part of the Passover story no longer feels like something that happened long ago. It feels real and present and urgent. The Israelites fleeing Egypt did not know where they were going or how they would survive. They walked into the wilderness on faith. And the tradition of retelling their story year after year is meant to make that experience not historical, but lived, to place ourselves inside it and to ask what it demands of us now. And traditionally at the Seder, an empty chair and a full glass of wine are set aside for Elijah, the prophet who it is said will return when the Messiah comes to heal the world. It is an act of hope, held open, a seat kept for the possibility of things made right. As we listen to the choir sing a Passover song about Elijah, I invite you to add your own silent prayers and thoughts and meditations for healing, for justice, for mercy, and especially for all of those who are right now fleeing with only what they can carry on their backs.